Some early upsets on the third day of the BetVictor UK Open here in Telford. I'm joined by my usual gang of Emily, Frazer and Karl Boyes. And the main talking point, Karl, you're out the tournament. I watched you earlier against Karl Naderberg. You twitched a 9-ball. What happened? Talk to me.
Yeah, I had a complete meltdown, pal. I lost 8-6. I was trying to focus on thinking, you know, the big match, me and JJ, but obviously he let the side down, didn't get that far. But he's a good young player, that Karl. I was very impressed. And he then went on to win his losers qualification match, so he's in the draw. Yeah,
Emily, a day where we've seen a few early upsets. I've got my phone out, I haven't remembered all 64 matches.
He's actually just like on Tinder.
Yeah, sorry about that. So a couple of the notable players that we've had go out today. World Cup winner Johan Chua, losing 9-5 to Chang Yu Lung. Moritz Neuhausen losing Hill to Jose Alberto Delgado. Imran losing to Billy Thorpe. So David Al-Qaedi losing to Tobias Bongers 9-7. So we talked about it yesterday. Now we're getting to the business end of the tournament, guys. You know, some big names are starting to fall, aren't they?
And you do kind of feel for it when it hits this stage of the tournament where it is a proper you're out sort of thing. And it's interesting because, you know, when you look at like the snooker tournaments and they're like the top 32 are seeded through to tournaments and things like that, it would be so tough to do that for our events here because it all fluctuates so much because the tour's, you know, just beginning and things like that. And I don't know, I can't. I hate it because I just want all of them to get through.
You like them all, don't you?
Oh, just love every one of them.
You said that to me when we were watching Catchy on day one, weren't you?
My heart goes. I can't help it. I can't watch. I don't like it. I don't like cheering for someone. I like watching the game bit and then their emotion, and then I have to walk away whoever is going to win. But like I said, there have been some upsets in this, but it's the UK Open. And well, when you think about it, when you look at like a snooker tournament, you kind of know who's going to win. You kind of have your chance and you go, it's definitely going to be one of these two. Whereas in a pool tournament, they're all so good and they're all so talented. They all have what it takes to get there. And yeah, there are upsets and things like that, but there are some great players in the field. And like, you look at Pistos Labutas, sorry, my pronunciation is awful, but he's been grinding the ranking events, hasn't he? He's been grinding the tour and he keeps getting in, which I think is brilliant.
I like what you said about, you know, any number of guys could win it. I liken the sport a little bit like to golf, Karl, and I know in commentary you've kind of referred to days 3 and 4 a bit like moving days, similar to golf. This is a day where the pressure really starts to build up and you start to see an outpouring of emotion. I saw on an outside table earlier, Jack Whelan, very good English 8-ball player, beat Daniel Guttenberger, who's a World 9-ball tour pro. He lost 9-7. Guttenberger's launching his cues across the table. And you don't see that on day 1 and 2, but you start getting it now,
I wish we also had a camera there.
I know, I kind of regret it.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't actually launch it. So he went like that on the table, everything just bounced off the table. And obviously with this floor, he had a nightmare.
Everyone's looking like
so it sounded and looked bad, but I don't think it was as bad as it was.
Okay, I'm doing you
Stop it, he launched it.
But that's sounding like me. You're thinking we've had loads of shocks. I don't think we've had loads of shocks.
No.
There's still all the big players have sailed through in my eyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
the big dogs.
But I mean, listen.
You feel like you haven't actually seen them. Like we haven't really seen the Shane. We haven't seen like the Albin. Do you know what I mean? And you haven't really seen Fran on the TV tables, which I like because we get to see some other opportunities of other players that are coming through. You know, I mean, we saw Sam Henderson quite a few times here. I know he's out of the tournament, but he's someone who's young, he's coming through, he's a World 9-ball tour pro. It's good to see other people getting that exposure, but like we said, the big dogs are through. It's the last 64 tomorrow. That we've done the draw, and these matchups look tasty as hell.
We'll get onto that in a moment. I wanted to talk about some of the guys that have come from the losers qualification because it kind of links into the draw. 32 from the winners' side are drawn against 32 from the losers' side. So if any of those big dogs do lose at this point, that means they go on to the other side, unseeded, and they're players you want to avoid. So a couple of guys that I've noticed, Mario He coming through losers qualification, winning Hill against Phil Burford. You're someone you spoke quite highly about there, Karl, before.
Yeah, Burford used to play when Jason Shaw sort of started getting into 9-ball. Burford, similar age. They were as good as each other back then. Burford decided to go a different route, you know, down the working life and whatnot, but obviously he knows what Matchroom are trying to achieve with the tour, so he's got the cue back out. He was 8-3 up against Mario.
I saw that, that was a comeback from Mario, wasn't it?
So I was a little bit surprised he lost. He said he had a couple of chances, but obviously Mario's going to take a lot of confidence from that.
And whilst we're on the Austrians, all 3 of the top Austrians that we know on the tour in Max Lechner and Albin Ocean have all come through the losers' side. So Max Lechner beating Dimitris Lukatis 9-8, Albin Ocean coming through 9-4, a winner against Fitim Haradnaj.
Who did Albin lose to?
Albin, you put me on the spot now. Sorry. He lost 9-7 to Georgi Georgiev.
Right, interesting.
He's not a bad player, but you'd expect Alvin to win that match, wouldn't you? So, you know, those guys coming through on the loser side, the top seeded guys, they're not going to be drawn against any of those guys, are they?
No, exactly. Like that is the whole point of, you know, the seeding in these tournaments. You know, the World Nine Ball Tour pros, they get seeded at that first section, which is, you know, the whole point of the tour and the rankings. And then you get to this bit, and it's brilliant that you keep the whole you keep the structure of the draw, because if you've come through with your 2 wins, you should be in that seeded section.
Definitely.
And if you've come through on the losers side, you know, you're drawn up against those, you know, winners. It just makes it so tough for whoever's coming through on that losers qualification. Makes it a proper grind.
Okay, I think we've spoken enough about the matches beforehand, so we completed the draw about 20 minutes ago, Emily. We looked at that when Brendan Moore, our TD, hit the button to shuffle it. I've identified a couple of tasty matches. So the world number 1 and reigning world champion Francisco Sanchez Ruiz will take on Chinese Taipei's Chang Yulong Karl. That's someone I know that you spoke very highly of in the past. Talk to me about that matchup.
Yeah, he's a class player, but you know, we were talking about Chua going out of the tournament. You know, Chua lost to Chang Yulong in the losers qualifier. He lost to Ko Ping-yi in winners qualifier. I mean, that is a ruthless draw. You know, some players, let's not be naive, they sneak through the draw. They've had some players where you think that's not the worst of draws. You know, like Carl Nadenberg playing me 2 rounds before.
And Jeremy Jones.
Yeah, and Jeremy Jones, the 2 commentators. I mean, come on. Poor Chua's got Ko Ping-yi.
Oh, don't say that.
No, but I mean, what I'm saying is, in the open events, you know, these are the things that can happen, you know. But, you know, Chua, he's probably played great, but look at the 2 matches and it's just a bit unfortunate. But, you know, Chang Yulong, you know, he's a class player.
Emily, obviously we watched Clint Catchy kind of limp through his first match. He's the defending champion, so all eyes are on him. He's got Mario He.
I know, I saw that come up when we were scrolling down. I was like, yes, bang that on the TV table. I think that's brilliant.
Match,
yeah, and it's also tough because I really would love to see Mario He win one of our tournaments. Like, I'd love to see that happen. He also made a bet with, well, not a bet, but we showed a school group of kids around the UK Open today, and it was brilliant, by the way. They all left wanting to become future.
Love that.
Paul.
Not commentators after sneaking up on Carl in the comms box.
No,
I saw that.
and Carl was doing some coaching on the practice tables, and they were all like leaving with their 9-ball t-shirts on, saying, "Yeah, I'm going to become a professional pool player." And Mario and Max Lettner, obviously, I've bought them in, and they're signing shirts and things like that. And Mario was actually like a little bit late to his match because he was shirt signing, which 100% was my fault, by the way. But this is why I love these players. But I said to Mario, I said to the kids, I was like, if he wins, because we were talking about nicknames, and I was like, look, it's Panda, and he turned around, he's got his t-shirt on.
Great nickname, great t-shirt as well.
Yeah, and the kids were like, and the one girl asked a really great question, and she went, what's your pose when you win a trophy? And Max was like, that's a great question. And you could tell the both of them were stumped because they were like, we've never thought about that before. Yeah. Max was like, I'm going to go like this and show my guns. And then I said to Mary, I was like, he's going to do a forwards roll like a roly-poly, like a panda.
Make sure we clip that up if that does happen. 100%. I'll keep an eye on that.
When he wins one of our events, I'm not handing that trophy over until he does a forwards roll on the floor. So I'm really sorry. That was a really long-winded, just left field answer.
It's nice to know what you've been getting up to today.
Sorry, I've been really busy.
Emily was like the naughty headmistress over in the corner.
Setting a good example, Em. Right, let's look down. So we've got US Open champion Ko Ping-chung. He's taken on Jack Whelan. I'm really intrigued by that match, Carl. What do you make of that match?
Yeah, Jack Whelan's, you know, one of the top English 8-ballers in the country. So, you know, since China's opened back up and they're putting all the money into Chinese 8-ball, we're seeing a lot of the 8-ballers go over there. So he's been playing that. Because he's been playing Chinese 8-ball, it's the same ball as a 9-ball table. So you will see him enter a few of these events. He's a very good curist. He doesn't play 9-ball the way a 9-ball pool player would play, but he doesn't really miss many pots. You know, he pokes his way around the table. He's not had the worst of draws. You know, he's not played a big player. Big test tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
So looking else down, Emily, I know you were quite impressed with this one. Victor Zielinski versus Alvin Anjito. I know you spoke earlier on Off the Rail the other day about the power.
Alvin was my little pick,
yeah,
I think.
exactly. So I think that's probably why you're quite... and he freed up your co-commentator back into the box.
Yeah, exactly.
As well.
I was just like, please, can you just absolutely whitewash this guy?
But that'll be an intriguing match, won't it? Victor, we know, is a highly, highly rated Polish player. He's not quite got to that level, I think, that we will expect him to get to. And obviously Alvin could be a breakthrough star this week as well.
Yeah, I kind of like how Alvin comes into the TV streams, just kind of like, he just seems so chilled. He has this chilled aura about him. But like, you know, Victor's obviously an incredible player. But it feels like he's just trying to get over the line in the Matchroom televised event sort of thing. You know, he had the Whirlpool Masters. He didn't, you know, really get much of a chance there. No. So again, all these players are just fighting their way to lift up a trophy. But listen, there's many of these tournaments. If it don't happen today, it's going to happen a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. It's kind of nice, I think, to not see one player kind of dominate the field, because I think you're going to go into this stage of the event. It's kind of anyone's game at this point, isn't it, Carl? I mean, looking down here, you're going off talking about form players. Oscar Dominguez is taking on Max Lechner, who's just got to back-to-back World 9 Ball Tour ranking finals. So he seems really confident. I spoke to him earlier before this week, and he feels like he's going to have a really good go at it this week.
Yeah, listen, winning pool matches, you know, breeds confidence. That's it. You know, whenever you're winning, you know, matches or tournaments, you're going to go into the next tournament feeling good. So obviously getting to the final up in Scotland, you know, he had to come here and sort of perform. So no shock to see, you know, him in the last 64.
Yep. A couple of notable ones as well. We won't just spend too much on them. All Hong Kong affair in Robbie Kapita versus Loho Sum. That'll be really good. Snooker's Gary Wilson's playing Dennis Grab as well, so that'll be a good test for both of those guys. Joshua Filler takes on Stephen Ellis, who's had some good results this week. And Jason Shaw, who we've not seen much of, he takes on the German in Tobias Bongers. Jason's kind of gone about his business on the outside tables, which is not usually what we see of Jason in these events. But do you think that will set him up nicely for this match?
Yeah, but I think he thrives on the TV tables. But, you know, everyone's just like kind of doing their thing. I like this one. It just feels like there's a different vibe here. I feel like there's going to be a different winner this year. I just got that feeling, and like maybe like an unexpected one. I mean, I don't know. God, I don't know what to talk about, do I? But yeah, look, I think it's interesting. I like that, you know, someone like Oscar Dominguez is still in this as well, and everyone's fighting for this Mosconi Cup because, you know, it's kind of opened the doors now, because there are a few more that are chasing the ranking points as well. So it's not like a straight up easy, especially with Skylar now being the playing captain. That only, you know, that's kind of 4 spots that are actually open.
Well, actually, I was touching on Skylar in America. I commentated on Billy against Imran. That's the best I've ever seen Billy play.
Yeah, he played solid in that match, didn't he?
Honestly, he played so good. Everything, safety, you know, potting. I know
considering he lost to Masato Yoshioka the way he did as well, being 8-2, it'd be easy to kind of be rattled by that as well,
sometimes, you know, that can do you good though in a tournament. You can think, why did I do that? Or you can take a lot from that, you know, losings. It's a good thing, you know.
Do you think maybe like missing that Mosconi Cup, it gives that motivation
to
we've seen that before with a few guys.
Yeah, and I heard he's like, you know, he's knocked the partying on the head and he's practicing and he's going to he's going to more tournaments, and that will pay off. Do you know what I mean? You know, it's not rocket science. So good to see Billy, you know, going for a deep run, and the Americans, you know, we've been so used to saying in these events, oh, Shane's the only American left, Shane's the only, but I think maybe this year it's the changing of the American.
It's good to see.
I see a USA win this year.
But I know some of the pros have pulled me to one side. Carl, can have a word. Yeah, what's up? What's going on with the pockets? Why are they not 4 inches? I said, well, listen, as far as I'm aware, they're supposed to be 4 inches, so whether it's Diamond have made it or the fitters or something's gone on, I don't know what's gone on. How come they're not 4 inches?
You're the player ambassador. Why are you asking me?
I'm not the table fitter, though.
I think he's throwing you under the bus live on air there, isn't he?
No, I'm just saying, because like they're saying they're like 3.8 or something, so I just didn't know if...
to be honest, real talk, like, listen, I don't play pool, but last year, a lot of the diamond tables, they were always playing a lot more giving than the Rassons, right? True or false? True. Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Don't know
He's
about that.
sitting on the fence. 100% that's true.
You can't remember that far back.
No, you can't remember that far back. But they were always played a bit more giving than the Rassons. We're going into the World Championship next month, playing on Rassons.
Yep.
It's humid venue. It's like, you know, everyone found the Hanoi Open tough with those Rassons, and it's just, we're just trying to keep them too consistent with one another. Everyone gets into the Mosconi, gets to the Masters, and it feels like it's all tight and it's tough for a table. Why should the Opens be any different?
And what
my opinion.
And what I will say as well, as we've talked about here for the last sort of 20 minutes, no upsets either. So, you know, the big dogs are still finding a way to win those matches, aren't they?
Also,
and
it's
they
the
always
first
will.
Open tournament back since Hanoi. Hanoi was the last Open tournament back. Once they're getting to, look, all these tables are going to the European Open. So these tables are going to be used at the European Open.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I think that's why they were asking. I think they were thinking, are Matchroom just going to keep making these pockets smaller or smaller? I said, listen, to my knowledge, Emily's not said we need them smaller.
No.
So I just presumed was it a diamond thing or the fitter? Do you know what I mean? Something's gone that way. I don't know.
Anyway, Mosconi Cup.
Yeah, let's talk about Mosconi Cup, Em, because I know you wanted to talk about that. We had a record-breaking pre-sale 24 hours, which I know you're very, very happy with.
Listen, I could sit down, I can write it all out on a piece of paper for everyone, and how different it's been since 2019, 2022, and how the figures have changed, and how the actual, more importantly, how the capacity has changed, how the tickets sold has changed. 30 minutes, we were beating what we were doing 24 hours 2 years ago. 30 minutes, we were beating, I think, like 20 hours from last year. So, I mean,
just smashing records on all fronts.
Listen, we are smashing it out of the park. And even though USA got absolutely dominated, it's still an exciting tournament to go to, and it just shows. It doesn't matter really what the scoreline is. It's an incredible tournament, but the most important thing is we are pretty much, I think there's like 3 tickets left on each day. However, we're going on general sale tomorrow at 6 p.m.
That's UK time, isn't it?
So
British
Friday,
summertime.
6 p.m. we're going on general sale, and I got 200 tickets up my sleeve,
Right, okay.
and they are going on sale for general. After that, that is it.
Yep.
And I know I always leave it to like a couple of weeks and we release production. That is it. There are no more tickets. So from Friday, general sale, 6 p.m. UK time, there's 200 tickets going on sale each day, and then that's it.
Wowzers.
So it's going to be rocking in Orlando in December, but tomorrow we will get down to 16 players at the UK Open. Lots of storylines to write.
And Sky Sports are coming in
Sky
from
Sports,
Saturday.
yeah, you excited for that?
Yeah. And it's also, we got like a bit of a different setup here. You got the 3 tables. Sky are going to be covering the main one from Saturday, and then you got these 2 also. It just shows everyone who's watching at home what actually this is, the 3 table setup. It's just not that one there, and we've got 16 players who have all made it through, and how great it is for them to make it through to 16, because it's a tough field.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
I always look at like this stage of the tournament, like if you've not made it through to tomorrow, you've lost in round 1. That's the way I look at it.
No, definitely. I think everyone wants to get to that last 16.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, the action begins from 10 a.m. tomorrow. Once again, Matchroom Pool YouTube for Table 1 and Matchroom Multisport YouTube for Table 2. So we'll see you then.